Did you know 1 in 6 children face some kind of mental health concern each year? And help is too often in short supply, especially in rural parts of Idaho. This Thursday, September 26th, Boise State Public Radio is holding a special event in Marsing to talk about rural mental health issues, and we'd like to invite you to come, especially if you or someone you know lives or works in Owyhee or Canyon counties. The event is free and open to the public, and dinner will be provided. So meet us at Marsing High School this Thursday, September 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. for an important panel conversation on building connections between teens, families, and their support networks. Find event details at boisestatepublicradio.org/events.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Today, we've got an update on the fire watch. A crazy accident in downtown Boise yesterday. We'll tell you how Idahoans are driving more than ever before. Plus, we've got a forecast you'll want to hear. It's Thursday, September 26th, and here are today's stories. Stephen Parker is at the National Weather Service office in Boise. Hi, Stephen.
Good morning, George.
I have to ask about yesterday because it was so nice, but unusually nice as far as the warm weather. How warm did it get?
Yes, if folks wanted one, I won't even say last, another taste of summer, they got it yesterday. We were 18 degrees above normal.
Wow.
The official high at the airport was 94 degrees.
94 degrees. Wow. Okay, what's our forecast for today? I'm assuming we're not going to hit 94.
Now, the forecast for today is for 81.
Okay.
Much lower after a cold front that moved through yesterday. And then warm up back into Saturday, where Saturday's high should get into the 90s again. Right now, we're forecasting 92.
And Stephen, look down the road for us. What does the long range look like?
Well, we got another cold front coming in Sunday, which will cool us off back into the 70s for early to middle of next week, and maybe even all the way back down to normal. Who knows?
That sounds more like fall.
Yes, yes, indeed.
He is Stephen Parker at the Weather Service. Stephen, thanks so very much. Have a great Thursday.
Always my pleasure, George. Take care.
On the fire watch, wildland firefighters have been taking advantage of this week's dry conditions. Checking the lava fire this morning, it has now burned nearly 98,000 acres, and even though there has been significant progress, Chris Zeller, the new planning operations chief on the scene, says that does not mean there have not been hot spots, especially on the eastern edge of the lava.
We had a little bit of smoke show up, first time in 7 days since that rain event that things started to burn. We're working this area. We got crews in there. We're continuing to develop plans and seeing how we can cut this fire off on that hillside up there.
Now moving over to the massive Wapiti fire, which still requires more than 300 firefighters on the scene. Kevin Nichols is the operations section chief there.
We do have forecasted high winds, and we have fire suppression resources spread out throughout and around the fire, keeping an eye on things, making sure that the fire doesn't spread outside of our containment lines, and going places that we don't want it to go. If you're driving on Highway 21, there is some fire that's been a little more active in the vicinity of Copper Mountain, and you might see that. We have folks in place there and working on that fire, that active fire there.
Meanwhile, at the State House yesterday, lawmakers, specifically House and Senate members of the legislature's Committee on Federalism, were briefed by the State Department of Lands on wildfires. On state IDL property this summer, they've had 301 wildfires. That's about 41,000 acres burned. Josh Harvey is the Bureau Chief of Fire Management with IDL.
A couple of key takeaways with this is the human-caused fires versus lightning, or the natural-caused fires. Human-caused fires have been continually on the rise in the state of Idaho and really across the nation. But it's safe to say that the vast majority, probably 99% of those 56 undetermined fires are human-caused fires, which really brings our total to over 180 human-caused fires this year versus 117 naturally caused fires.
And again, that is for state-managed lands, a fraction of the national forests where most of the wildland fires have been burning this year. The National Interagency Fire Center in Boise says the national wildland fire preparedness level on a scale of 1 to 5 right now is at a 4. The sculpture embedded into the outside of the Grove Hotel in Boise's downtown core is perhaps one of the higher profile pieces of art in the entire state. Late yesterday, a driver crashed into the building and did some significant damage to the lower right corner of the sculpture, which is a reimagining of the state's river system. It's been there since the late 90s. Reportedly, 2 vehicles collided at Front and Capitol, sending one of the vehicles up onto the sidewalk and then into the side of the hotel and ultimately smashing the artwork. During the pandemic, vehicle miles traveled plummeted across the nation. Now they're not only back up, a new analysis shows Americans, including those in our region, are driving more than ever. Caleb Radel reports.
Nationwide, the average mileage increased more than 12% this past spring when compared to 2019. That's according to Streetlight data. The transportation analytics firm looked at the 100 biggest metro areas. In Boise, mileage surged 58%, the second highest in the nation. Streetlight's Emily Adler says rising driving can affect public safety, public health, and our climate.
Transportation is the biggest source of emissions in the U.S., and that's, of course, driven by gas-powered vehicle driving.
Adler urges policymakers to bring down driving emissions. That could mean more EV charging stations, sidewalks, bike lanes, and public transit. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Caleb Radel.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We'll see you back here Friday. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org or download the Boise State Public Radio app. It's free. And thanks for listening.